Hello and welcome to the Unit 5 Study Guide for Equations and Inequalities. I am DJ Tay. I'm going to jump right in and I'm going to move pretty quickly through this study guide. Number 1 says, which of the inequalities is true for x equals 7? This means that we must substitute in 7 for every x. So I'm going to start with the first one to see if it works. "21 is not less than or equal to 9. So it's not the first one. Let's go to the next one. All right, so 23 is indeed greater than 6. Let's test the next one. "43 is not less than 43. It's equal to, but not less than. So that one isn't it either. And let's see if the last one fits. Okay, so for this one, it's 56 is greater than or equal to 56. And we know that it's equal to 56, so that one is correct. Number 2, an equation is given, and which value of x from the set is a solution to this equation. So remember, because this is an equation, there's only one right answer for this one, okay? So let's go ahead, and first there are two ways you can approach this. You can distribute, or you can go ahead and just plug these in and then solve it from there. I'm just going to do a substitution. All right, and I know that 8 does not equal 14, so it's not 20. Next, let's try 23. I'm going to have to write a little bit smaller here, so that I could try to fit all of these in for you guys, or we're going to run out of room. Okay. All right, and look at that, guys. We have found the answer. So 23, remember it has to be balanced. Only one number can equal that to make it balanced. So our answer is 23. Number 3, an equation is given. Which value of x from the set is a solution to this equation? So again, we are dealing with substitution here. In an equation, so only one right answer. But notice here, I have a few things going on. So first, I am going to take care of this and distribute it, because I see I'm going to end up having to combine some like terms. So let's get this done. 5 times x 9x plus 5x plus, and then 5 times 4 is 20, all right, equals 62. So I know that 9x and 5x, those are like terms. So really my equation is 14x plus 20 equals 62. Okay, so I can take care of this by substituting each of these numbers in. So the first one, 14 times 0 plus 20. So this is 0 plus 20. 20 does not equal 62. Let's go to the next one. Let's try 3. 14 times 3 plus 20. All right. And guys, oh, let me write the rest of it because I didn't do that for the last one. So we have 42 plus 20. Okay, let's add these up. 42 plus 20 is 62. And we know that 62 does indeed equal 62. All right, so our answer here is 3. Okay, number 4 says use the inequality to answer the question. X minus 2.8 is less than 12.9. Okay, so it says what is the greatest value of X? The greatest value of X. And this, guys, is where it gets a little tricky. Because what it means is that, look at these answer choices. We have to see which one or which ones will work. But not only that, we need to see which is the greatest one of these that work. So let's go ahead and start substituting in. Let's start with 16.4. And this is one I'm going to write a little smaller because we will have to test all 1, 2, 3, 4 of these just to make sure. And I'm going to use a handy dandy calculator because we're dealing with some decimals, okay? So the first one's 16.4. I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in for X. Minus 2.8 is less than 12.9. Okay, let's see. 16.4 minus 2.8. 13.6. So this is saying 13.6 is less than 12.9, and we know that's not true. So I'm going to eliminate that answer. Let's now substitute in 9.1. 9.1 minus 2.8. Let's see if that's less than 12.9. And this is 6.3. And I'll tell you guys that later you'll be able to estimate these really quickly and know. You say, oh, about 9 minus, about 3 is going to give me about 6, and then you'll be able to do that. But for today, we're going to actually show our work and go through each step of the process. So we do know that 9.1 makes this inequality true. So I'm going to circle that one. Let's test the next one. 15.1. minus 2.8. We're going to see if that is less than 12.9. All right, and it's 12.3. And we know that 12.3 is indeed less than 12.9. So 15.1 also works as a solution. And let's try the last one. 13.7 minus 2.8. And it's saying that it's going to be less than 12.9. Let us see. And it is 10.9. And we also know that 10.9 is indeed less than 12.9. So that is also a possible solution. So we have three solutions here that fit this inequality. But notice it says what is the greatest. So when I'm looking at this, 9.1, 15.1, 13.7, 15.1 is the greatest of these possible solutions. So my answer here is 15.1. Okay. Number 5. Which values from the set 4, 7, 9, and 11 are in the solution set of x plus 11 is greater than 18? So this is a pretty simple one, but we're going to substitute in and show our work anyways. So the first solution set, first part of the solution set is 4. So let's plug this in. It's saying 4 plus 11 is greater than 18. And we know that 4 plus 11 is 15, and that is not greater than 18. So 4 is not a solution for that. Let's try the next one. 4, 7. Let's plug in 7. Let's substitute. Plus 11, saying it's greater than 18. 7 plus 11 is 18, so it is not greater than 18. So 7 is not a solution. Let's try 9. 9 plus 11, is it greater than 18? 9 plus 11 is 20. 20 is indeed greater than 18. So 9 is a solution. Now let's check 11. 11 plus 11, is it greater than 18? We know that 11 plus 11 is 22. And 22 is indeed greater than 18. So we have two values there that work for this inequality. Number 6, Charisma's weekly income is $17 less than 3 times Rudy's weekly income. Rudy's weekly income is X. All right. So write the expression that represents Charisma's weekly income. So let's tackle this. This has a lot of things going on. So I told you guys that you want to identify certain pieces of information here. So I have to talk about 3 times. 3 times what? Rudy's weekly income. And it tells us that Rudy's weekly income is X. So if it's 3 times that, I know that I'm already working with 3X. That's going to be a part of this. But we also have to pay attention to the fact that Charisma's weekly income is $17 less than. And we know that less than is a joker phrase. So that means that this 3 times is going to come first, and then we're subtracting 17. So 3x minus 17 is going to give us the expression for Charisma's weekly income. Number 7, there are X students in Dr. Shannon's class, and 2/3 of them like pizza. If 18 of the students like pizza, write the equation that can be used to find the number of students in the class. And then it says to solve how many students are in Dr. Shannon's class. So we know that X is representing the students. 2/3 of them like pizza. That's important. And when 2/3 of them like pizza, it equals 18 students. So let's go ahead and write this. So 2/3 X is equal to 18. So you may get a little like, what am I going to do here? Because this is a little tricky. We are going to use the same process for one-step equations any other time. So first we're going to circle our variable. Look and see what's being done to it. This variable is being multiplied by 2/3. So that means I am going to divide both sides by 2/3. And I am going to show you guys how to remind you how to do that on the calculator. So first, let's go ahead and divide this side by 2/3, which means these two cancel out. And I'm going to divide this side by 2/3. And so it's leaving x equals, and you may say, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Don't worry. Remember, we pop it into the calculator. 18 divided by, and remember this button here. This button here tells us, it allows us to put a fraction in. So 2, push that button, and then thirds. And we hit equal. And x equals 27. So we have our, first we have our equation, which is 2/3 x is equal to 18. And so this is our equation, and then there are 27 students. Here's the cool thing, guys, on the test it won't ask you to solve it. I just wanted to add a little extra zing in there. Number 8, Mateo completed 9 problems in one night. And I'm actually, let me back this up just a little bit so it's easier to see. Okay, so Mateo completed 9 math problems in one night. Write the equation to show how many more problems, P, he will need to complete if there are 30 problems on his assignment. So again, we have some important pieces of information. He completed 9. P is the number of problems, and there are 30 problems total on the assignment. So in my class, I'm going to show, I did the highlighting strategy, but I'm going to show you how my students are a little more familiar. I have them write, so 9, what is 9 representing here? That's the number completed. Okay, and next, P is the number of problems left. Okay, and then we know that 30 is the number total. Okay, so if 30 problems are on the whole assignment, we know that it's going to equal 30. That gives us our hint right there. So he completed 9 problems, and he still has some more problems. So there are 2 ways I can write this. I can write that he completed 9 problems, and then plus the problems he still has left, and that will give him 30. That will equal the 30 problems. Okay, I can also write this as the problems that he has left plus the 9 that he did is equal to 30. Number 9, Tay played X video games at Johnston's arcade. Cannon played 4 times as many games as Tay played. Write the expression that represents the number of games that Cannon played. So X is the number of videos that Tay played. Cannon played 4 times as many. And so let's look at that. So I played X. He played 4 times. 4 times X is 4X. And yes, guys, it really is that simple. Number 10, Megan buys a desk for X dollars. She also buys a chair that costs 5 times more. Megan says her total cost is 10X dollars because 5X plus 5X equals 10X. So fix her error. So I'm already telling you guys that there is indeed an error. And it says, what is the correct expression for the total cost? This is going to take some thinking, but I'm going to help you work through this. So the desk is X dollars. Then she buys a chair that costs 5 times more. So X, excuse me. So X here is the cost of the desk. And then 5 times more than what X, so that's 5X. That is the cost of the chair. Okay, so this means that in order for the total cost, whatever the desk costs plus the cost of the chair will give how much Megan's going to end up paying. So that is 5X plus X. And we know that when it's not a number, a coefficient here, so that means it's just 1X. So 5X plus 1X is equal to 6X. That is the correct expression for what she is going to pay. Number 11, in the equation 6H is equal to 31.32. What is the value of H? So I'm going to circle my variable. I'm looking at it. What is happening to this variable? It's being multiplied by 6. That means I'm dividing both sides of the equal sign by 6. These two 6's cancel to a 1, leaving me with H equals, and I'm going to throw into the calculator 31.32 divided by 6, and we get 5.22. Number 12, the sum of B and 34 is equal to 87.1. Write the equation that describes the sentence. So the sum of tells me that I'm adding. Adding what? B and 34. And then it says is equal to. That tells me my equal symbol. So let's simply write this out. B plus 34 is equal to 87.1. Number 13, consider the equation below. What is the solution to the equation? Now this one, I don't want you to freak out about this. With a calculator, it's super easy. Alright, so I see that it's a one-step equation, just kind of crazy with some mixed numbers. I'm going to circle my variable, ask what is being done to this variable, and I see that it's being added with 3 4/5. So since this is a positive, we're being added 3 4/5. In order to get this G by itself isolated, I have to subtract 3 4/5 from this side of the equal sign, and I have to subtract 3 4/5 from this side of the equal sign. This is where we are going to use our handy dandy calculator again. So we're going back to using this button, except for this time we put in our whole number, then we push that button, then we put in our 2, then we push that button and put in our denominator. And we're subtracting. We're going to put in our 3, our whole number, put in our numerator, and then put in our denominator and hit equals. And we have 2. You see that little U looking thing there? That just means that it's a big space in between it, because our answer is 2 1/3 is what G equals. Number 14, Julia has $120, which is triple the money Luke has. Write the equation that represents the money X in dollars that Luke has. Alright, so let's go ahead and write out some important information here. I'm going to go back to that strategy. 120 is the money Julia, right? Money that Julia has. Okay, and then they tell us something important. Triple is times 3, right? So Julia has $120, which is 3 times the money Luke has. Okay, so and then X is the money that Luke has. So this means that when I multiply or triple that x, multiply that x by 3, I am going to get a total of $120. So let's go ahead and write that. 3x equals 120. And it doesn't ask us to solve, guys. It just says to write the equation. Number 15. Nikki purchased school supplies for her and her sister. Nikki's supplies cost $37.24. The school supplies cost a total of $117.19. Write the equation that can be used to represent the cost of the supplies for Nikki's sister, S, and what is the value of S. So they're asking us to write the equation, and we need to solve this equation. So we know that $37, move this over a little bit, $37.24 is Nikki's supplies. Okay, and we are going to use S for sister's supplies. And we know that the $117.19 is the total. Okay, it says the total cost is $117.19. Okay, so now let's go ahead and set this up. So that means that what's happening to this variable of S, the sister supplies, is being added to whatever the cost of Nikki's supplies are. So we have $37.24 plus the sister's amount, and then it equals $117.19. So we have our equation there, right? Now it's time to go ahead and solve it. So I'm going to rewrite the equation so we can do the math using it. So I see that $37.24 is positive and is being added to S. So in order to isolate this S, I'm circling my variable. I'm going to subtract $37.24 from this side to cancel it out, and subtract $34.24 from this side. And I'm going to pop that into the calculator really quickly. So 117.19 minus 34.24. Oops. 24. And we have $82, and S equals $82.95. Those are some expensive supplies. Number 16, the number line shows all possible values for X. Write the inequality that best describes the possible values for X. So we're just writing the inequality. Let's look. So we're comparing X to what? To 5. And that circle is open. All right, that circle is open, so I know it's not going to be equal to. And look in which direction that arrow, that whole dark line, is pointed. It is pointed to these numbers that are less than 5. So X is less than 5 is our inequality here. Number 17, an airline will accept a suitcase if its weight is not more than 90 pounds. Lindsay had 3 suitcases with weights that were accepted by the airline. Write the inequality that represents the possible combined weight. Combined weight of Lindsay's 3 suitcases. So we know that each one cannot be more than 90 pounds. We know that all together they are, that we have to write this inequality. Okay? So whatever the weight ended up being, we don't know, because one could have been 20 pounds, one could have been right at 90, one could have been, 50 pounds. We don't know the weight. So we're going to use X to represent the weight of all 3 suitcases all together. Okay? And if they can have 3, if she has 3 suitcases and each one can be 90 pounds, let's look at that, guys. That's 90 times 3. Or you could just say 90 pounds plus 90 pounds plus 90 pounds, and it gives you 270 pounds. So we know that whatever the total is, she can't be more than at 270 pounds for 90 pounds for each of the 3 cases. So whatever the total weight is, it has to be less than, or it could be right at, equal to 270 pounds. Okay, number 18. The table shows the number of wins of the 6 pitchers on the Armstrong Middle School baseball team. What inequality represents all the data in the table if X represents the number of wins? So we have to write an inequality here using X compared to a number. And notice they have a few inequalities here. And this one might throw you off. My answer choices, I have the X flipped here. Okay? But don't let that deter you. You still read it, and I'll show you how. So I am going to test each one of these. This is the easiest way to do this problem. So this one is saying that 24, if I said the wins are 24, that is greater than the X. Or you could say, look at where this X is. X, the wins are less than 24. But we know that can't be right because Marco won 24 times. So the wins cannot be represented by greater, that 24 is greater than the number of wins. Okay, so let's look at B. It says that X is greater than 3. You see that? X is greater than 3. Well, we have here Diego did win 3. So we know that these cannot be represented by only something more than 3. So that's not an option. Let's look at C. C says that X is greater than or equal to 24. So this one is different because up here we had X is less than 24, but we couldn't because Marco had 24. So they couldn't be less than at 24. And this one is saying that the wins are greater than or equal to 24. Well, look at all of these other wins. They are not greater than 24, so this one can't represent this table either. So we're only left with one, but we want to make sure this fits as well. So it says X is less than or equal to 25. Well, let's see. Is 24 less than 25? Yes. Is 19 less than 25? Yes. 12? Yep. 14? Yep. 3? Yep. 7? Yes. So this is our answer. Number 19. Carlin wants to watch a TV show before sketching a new design. Carlin can watch the show for at most 45 minutes. Write the inequality that represents the minutes M Carlin can watch the show. So let's highlight some important information. M is important because that's the minutes that she can watch the show. This tells us what? At most 45 minutes. That's important as well. So let's set up our inequality, M, and we have to think at most. This is where we're thinking about this. So at most, that means she cannot go over 45 minutes. She can't watch more than 45 minutes. But at most means that she can watch right at 45 minutes. So this means that M, the number of minutes she can watch, is less than, or it could be equal to 45. And last but not least, number 20, Angie wants to go swimming. The Seven Springs Water Park will open when the air temperature T is a minimum of 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So we have T, we have 80, and it's telling us something important, a minimum. And it says, write the inequality that best represents temperatures, but here's the trick here. When the pool is closed. When the pool is closed. So if the pool is open, when the temperature is a minimum, that means it could be 80 degrees, or it has to be hotter. So let's do this. Let's write when the pool is open, we know that the temperature, T, has to be greater than, or it could be equal to, the 80 degrees, right? So when is it closed? When it's closed, that means that the temperature is less than 80 degrees. Because it can't be 80, so it has to be anything. So if it's 79 degrees, guys, it's not going to open. It has to be at least 80 degrees. So our closed answer that they're asking us for is T is less than 80. All right, guys, I hope this helps. Please rewatch this tonight. If you do rewatch this, I am going to be checking and seeing if some people watch it. And if you do, I want you to come and tell your teacher quietly, 21. Can you do something for me? That's our secret code. All right, bye-bye, guys.